said, we are going to be drawing Luca, and as you might have guessed, we are going to be drawing him in his sea monster form. So we're going to start this off with a circle. And we're going to keep the circle about the size of an apple or maybe a small orange. Now, we're going to draw as many circles as you need until you find the shape that you like. So once we have that circle in place, we're going to be giving ourselves some guidelines. Now, the first line we're going to be doing is a vertical line. And I'm going to cut this line, circle, right in half this way.
Hey.
Do you guys have any questions?
No, sorry.
No worries. Now, the next line we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a second line from here at the bottom, and we're going to come up the lower quarter of the circle right here. Now, once we're done, you should have Kylo Ren's lightsaber and a potato.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to make a few more steps just so we can get Luca's entire silhouette on our page here. So the next, under our circle here, we're going to be drawing this stretch out, almost like a bowl right underneath. And we're going to be pulling this up to either side. It's going to be kind of like we have our ball kind of resting in like a bit of a bowl or like a glass. Now, once we have that in place, we're going to go ahead and give him his shoulders as well as his neck. Now, Luca is a younger character. And right now, we keep everything very lightly, so I'm not going to any of our lines just yet. But we're going to give him his shoulders. And because he's a younger character, he's actually going to have a pretty narrow neck compared to his head and to his shoulders. Now, to start with, we're going to be making a rainbow shape underneath our square here. And then you're going to be just making two lines just to connect that neck to that rainbow there. But since we are drawing him in a sea monster form, the first thing we're going to lock in is actually these shoulder points here. Now you see what I'm doing at this point is I'm just pressing down a little harder on our pencils. And we're really making these lines we want to keep much more defined. Now this gives us two things we're doing here. The first part is that we're just making it very clear which lines we want to keep. But as we lock in these lines, any of the lines we don't want to keep or we don't are just using for construction, they're going to kind of fade into the background. Now once we have his shoulders in place, we're actually given the scales that he has when he's in the sea monster form. And these are going to be very simple, just a series of letter Q's off on the side here. You're not going to have them connected to each other per se, unless you want to. During this movie, actually, between Luca and Alberto, they each had over, I want to say, 3,400 scales each, that they all had a texture and animate. So it took a lot of time to do while they were doing this film. Once we have those scales in place, we're going to be moving back up towards Luca's head here. Now, the first feature we're going to really work on for Luca is actually going to be the fins that he has on either side of his head. So for these fins, we're going to start off with by really emphasizing this line here coming off the side. And we're going to be making basically a fan on either side here. It's going to be 3 spines coming off just to either side. So think of this almost like a fan that's really stretched out, or like you're just about to unfold it. But you can go ahead and, especially on the spines here, lock these in right about when you have the lines that you want to keep. And then we're going to connect each of these with just a letter C curve. Once we have those in place, the next step we're going to be doing is we're actually making Luca's paddles or his fins that he has for to place his hair. Now, he has a lot of these, so we're not going to draw each and every one, we're going to draw a good portion of them. To start with these, we're going to go ahead and make, coming from the side here, coming up about halfway up on the side, 1 to going to be a large stretched out rainbow just to either side, right above each one. Think of like almost like your thumb or like your pinky finger for each side of Luca's head. Now the next one we want to do is I like to start off with the one here in the middle. And it's going to be about a third of the way up above for like this instead of his head to above. And I just make a big horseshoe here at the top. Now if you find it easier to go ahead and draw this all the way through, kind of make this like a big paddle at the top, you can do that, but make sure we don't lock this in just yet. Now the next two are going to be connecting from here, and they're actually going to tuck right in front of that top pouch. I know we're doing quite a lot here to follow along with, so I'm trying to keep this at good speed, but are we all having fun? Yes. Wonderful. Sure. So, the director for this film is actually Enrico Casarosa, and this is his first feature film, but he actually did a Pixar short before this that you might be familiar with. Does anyone remember La Luna? Yes. Yeah, this is the same director here. And believe it or not, he actually wasn't certain he wanted to get animation. He actually had a friend whose name was, ironically, Alberto, who really encouraged him to come to the States and really pursue this. Now at this point, I'm going to go back and start locking in these paddles on the top here, really keeping the lines that I really want to stand out, and letting some of my construction lines get a fade into the background. Bless you. I hope you're not allergic to fish. This would make it a very awkward class.
No, I love fish.
Good. So once we have these paddles locked into place, we're going to go ahead and start moving on to our next step, which is going to be more paddles in the front. Now with these, they're going to be just smaller paddles, and they're going to be kind of in between each one here. He is a little bit more of a complex character, but I have faith in all of you. So these four are just going to be coming right at the front here. And the last one's going to be tucking right over here on the side. Now, if you're worried that some of your construction lines are kind of covering up the ones in the back, that's okay. I do, in fact, have a solution for you. From here, we're going to go ahead and get the texture for each and every one of these. And the first one we're going to be doing is the top fin. Now, each one of these is going to have about 3 to 4 spines coming off it. And you're just going to go ahead and darken those shapes in from this one forward, kind of coming up on either side. Now you can add as many of these as you want if you want to really get a lot of detail in, but I'm just going to keep it about 3 for each one. And at this point too, once we have those in place, we can actually lock in the top of the head. Everybody okay with it?
Just a little one, don't worry. She has extra.
But with us locking in the top shape here, we are actually coming up to our halfway point. So I'm going to do a quick check-in in just a moment. How are we all feeling about our drawings now?
No.
Yes.
Great, we have some, oh, it's looking great there, sweetie, fantastic. For those of you who sounded a bit more ambivalent about your drawings, we obviously have a lot of steps to do, but it's also important to remember that all of us draw these characters individually. We all have our own little take on them. Like if you look at over here at our drawings with Mushu, they all look very different, but you can all tell they're the same character. But I asked this before, so I'll ask it again, and the most important part. Are we still having fun?
Yes.
Awesome. Are you guys ready to keep going? Yes. All right, let's keep going then. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and lock in the rest of this head here. I'm really going to find the lines that I want. So a lot of this movie as well, they have a lot of like little fun hidden meanings in there. Like Luca's last name is Paguro, which means hermit crab. And Alberto's scorfano, which is scorpion fish. And if you think about it, it kind of really shows to their personalities. Where Luca's a lot shyer, he has to really come out of his shell, literally. While Alberto's much more fiery, he's much more willing to like go out there and challenge anyone and anything in the search of a moped. But now, right at this point, we obviously don't have a lot of features for our character. So we're going to go ahead and start giving him some of his features here. We'll start off with his nose. Now his nose is a very small little rainbow. Here in the center of his features here, it's going to give a small rainbow at this point. And you can lock this in whenever you're comfortable. And just give it two small little dots here. He has a little bit of an upturned nose when you're looking at him from afar. And because he is a little bit more shy than Alberto, even though he's a half-year character, he tends to have a shyer smile. And we're giving him just that very shy, kind of one-sided smirk. So think of this like a half-letter U. Now, at this point, we're going to go ahead and wake up our sea monster and give him his eyes. Now his eyes are very, very wide because again, he is still a little kid. And they're going to be out almost to the very outside of our circle here. And you want to make these about half the size going from like our eye line to the top of our circle. And once you have your favorite lines in place, we're going to lock these in. And I'm also going to build up a bit of a lash line here on the outside of each eye towards the top. We do this in animation for a very particular reason. That's when we can, while there's characters looking around, where they might close their eyes, we do this so that we can make sure we can see and continue to see the upper and lower lid. But now, as you can tell, we have a sea monster who just off on a mission. So let's go ahead and wake him up. And to wake him up, we're going to go ahead and just add another circle on the inside. And I'm going to have him looking out at all of us. So I'm going to put this here just in the lower corner. And you want to make sure you draw the whole circle here. Now once you have these circles locked in place, go ahead and take the side of your pencil and we're going to darken these in. And you want to make these as dark as you can. Because we always want the character's eyes to be the focal point whenever we draw them. And we also use this to show a lot of their emotions and expressions. But with those eyes in place now, we do need to give him his eyebrows as well. And all he's going to be is a pair of lines right above his eyes here. I like to start off with just one on either side. Now I'm going to give him a slight tilt to pointing up. And the more you tilt them up, the more anxious or excited he'll look. So I'm not going to go quite too anxious. We didn't have fun with this. But we're also going to build this up to be not just a line, but a little bit of a figure, almost like a rectangle right above his eye here. Now, with those in place, the last couple things we're going to be giving Luca are just going to be the freckles that he has. Because even though he's a sea monster, he does get a bit more sun than those. He likes to explore and be under the waters. And all these are going to be is three little dots there in the middle and just under the eyes on either side. Now this next step is going to be a bit of extra credit. But what I like to do is use the side of my pencil here. And I'm going to go ahead and lightly shade in all of those petals earlier. And this will also help to really blend in any extra lines we might have had. And if you want, you can also go and shade in those fins on the side. And I'm also going to shade in the scales here on his shoulders as well. But now we reach the most important step for any artist. find your favorite spot on your page and sign your name. Now each and every one of you draw your very own sea monster from the movie Luca. Luca!
Yeah, I like Luca.
Yeah.
Did we all have fun? Wonderful. So we're gonna have a quick art show. So I want to see each and every one of these. So on the count of three, go to your drawing boards around. 1, 2, 3. Luca! Oh, these are looking fantastic. Very nicely done. Great line work right over there. Great work in the front. Very nice. All of you give yourselves a round of applause. We all passed the academy today.